Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Two Floyd County men are under arrest for possession of child sexual abuse materials. The arrests come after two separate investigations by Indiana State Police. The first began when law enforcement got multiple tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They indicated that between last September and last March, an individual was uploading pictures depicting child sexual abuse. That led to the arrest of Timothy Lee Newberry. In the second investigation, officers arrested Jesse Edward Kane Worley. Both men are charged with possession of child sexual abuse and are being held in the Floyd County Jail.
We are learning new troubling details tonight about a Hendersonville musician charged with horrific crimes.
We found out today that Phil Vaught faces 160 counts of different child sex crimes.
Our Steve Mailing reports that police are looking for more victims potentially.
Hendersonville police say that Phil Vaught was arrested over the weekend in Mississippi following a lengthy investigation by detectives. He now faces multiple charges, all related to child sex abuse. The 160-count indictment handed down by the Sumner County Grand Jury accuses musician Phil Vaught of 4 different crimes: sexual battery by an authority figure, statutory rape by an authority figure, continuous sexual abuse of a child, and sexual exploitation of a minor. The musician was arrested in Mississippi. The crimes outlined in the indictment say it happened from 2015 to 2017, which for minor victims, Kim Gurman with the Sexual Assault Center in Nashville says is not uncommon.
They don't know that anybody will believe them. The shame around feeling shame or embarrassment about what happened, that fear of shame and blame will keep them from talking.
Vaught comes from Kentucky, the son of a minister who moved to Tennessee when his music career started to take off. He's now faced with a $1.5 million bond, which, if convicted, could carry a lengthy sentence. Gurman says the importance in these cases is education and letting kids know where they can report a suspected crime, and the need for everyone to play a part in keeping kids safe.
To tell anyone, because state law says that we're all mandated reporters. We have the responsibility to be the voice for them and to advocate for them when they can't.
For WSMV4, I'm Steve Mailing.
All right, so if you've experienced sexual assault or abuse, the Sexual Assault Center in Nashville offers free counseling, advocacy services, and free forensic exams at their SAFE clinic. You can also visit the Family Safe Center or call the National Sexual Hotline, that Sexual Assault Hotline. That number is there on your screen.
Authorities have seized a laptop as evidence in the investigation into a 12-year-old girl's death in Enfield. This comes just 1 week after police took a cell phone and tablet from the home where the girl was found dead. 12-year-old Eve Rogers was found unresponsive last month in her room. Right now, her stepfather has been charged with sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor. He has not been charged with her death.
An investigation into how a 12-year-old girl in Enfield died in March continues, but her stepfather was charged with serious sexual assault allegations prior to her death. The man was also a school bus driver in Enfield. And NBC Connecticut's Melissa Cooney has the update from court and concerns made from parents. Melissa.
Yeah, Amber. Well, Anthony Federline right now is being held on $1 million bond. Now, he was fired from his post as an Enfield school bus driver last week when he was arrested. But today I spoke with parents who say they're upset that he was working as a school bus driver at all while this investigation was ongoing.
We just wanted answers. We wanted accountability. We wanted some sort of transparency. We wanted answers from somebody.
Enfield parent Malcolm Maxwell Frechette tells us he and other neighborhood parents have a lot of questions as to why Anthony Federline, charged with sexual assault, was still driving children around during the 2.5-week investigation that ultimately led to his arrest. Last week, Federline was arrested accused of violently sexually assaulting his stepdaughter, Eve Rogers, who was found dead in her home the morning of March 18th.
We had our criticisms of his conduct and behavior towards the kids for a while.
Maxwell Frechette tells us they complained in person to Hazardville Memorial Elementary School about Federline in the fall, saying he was ill-tempered. Upon our request, Enfield School District provided what they say is the only complaint on file from Smith Bus Company about Mr. Federline, made by a different family in October. The complaint says Mr. Federline required kids to be quiet on the bus. After Federline's stepdaughter was found dead mid-March, Federline was still seen driving for the school district, something parents called the school about as the investigation was ongoing.
DCF is involved, and we didn't know why somebody working around children would still be there.
In a statement to families, the Enfield superintendent addressed the situation in part by saying, quote, Mr. Federline was removed from his position upon the district's notification of arrest. Prior to that time, the district was unaware that he was a person of interest. They also shared a statement from Smith Bus Company who says in part, we acted immediately and we are fully cooperating with authorities. Maxwell Frechette says this incident has been traumatizing for the community and that he wants to see more precautions taken to protect kids in the future.
It's terrifying still to this day. I'm glad that he's gone and he won't be driving the kids anymore, but it doesn't really make me feel any better about the situation.
And Enfield police say the investigation is still ongoing, and at this point, as of Monday, the cause and manner of 12-year-old Eve Rogers' death is still pending as well. We're live in Hartford tonight. Melissa Cooney, NBC Connecticut News.
A disturbing case out of Henderson County and a sentence that could keep an Athens man behind bars for decades. Prosecutors say 31-year-old Dwight Fitzpatrick of Athens will serve 2 40-year sentences after pleading guilty to aggravated sexual assault of a child. That investigation began in 2024 when a young victim came forward to family members, leading to a forensic interview. Officials say a second victim was also identified during this case, reporting abuse from years earlier. Fitzpatrick pleaded guilty to charges involving both victims and will serve those sentences concurrently.
Bell County deputies have made an arrest in an aggravated sexual assault of a child investigation. Officials say the case started last week when they received a report involving a child. 41-year-old Jeremy DePaul of Belton was taken into custody last week. on a charge of assault causing bodily injury. During the investigation, authorities say additional evidence led to a more serious charge. The county's district attorney's office has now accepted a charge of aggravated sexual assault of a child. That's a first-degree felony. DePaul is in jail with a $345,000 bond. Investigators say he is also a registered sex offender tied to a prior conviction involving child sexual abuse material.
Tonight, a Central New York man is facing a serious felony charge in connection to a case involving artificial intelligence and exploitive images of minors. Good evening, everyone. I'm Megan Coleman. Matt is off tonight. As law enforcement confronts the rise of AI-generated exploitation material, a New York lawmaker says the state is now racing to keep its legal system up to speed. Rachel Culver continues our coverage tonight.
The case against Chad Snow marks one of the first times in New York a prosecution is using an updated state law on artificial intelligence.
Fortunately for New York State, the law actually evolved with this AI. This is a fairly new law, 2025 law, to protect our kids.
That evolution didn't happen by accident. A Long Island lawmaker says the rise of deepfake technology exposed a dangerous gap that left prosecutors with limited options.
There was an instance with an individual named Patrick Carey who had produced and weaponized, digitized deepfake pornography against these women and girls. I saw the DA's office struggling, and the DA saying this in particular is not a crime, and it needs to be.
Data from the child advocacy organization Enough Abuse shows a 1,325% increase in AI-related child sexual abuse material reports since 2024, impacting as many as 1 in 17 children. As those numbers climb, New York moved to crack down. In 2025, the state updated its laws to treat AI-generated sexual images of minors the same as real ones, making them illegal.
If you are hurting children using digitally altered material, then that is considered a crime here in New York State. That was not clear before the 2025 law changed.
In the case of Chad Snow, investigators say that clarity made all the difference. But even with the new law, lawmakers say the work isn't done. Right now, the charge carries a maximum of 7 years in prison. There's a push in Albany to elevate it to a Class C felony, allowing for stricter penalties.
If it was a Class C felony, it would no longer handcuff our judges and prosecutors, and would allow them to have a greater scope of what they could see as a penalty for a crime like this, which, when it comes to the protection of children, I think is an important feature of our legislation.
As artificial intelligence continues to evolve, so do the risks, especially for young people.
In a world where digital imagery is increasingly crossing the line, so we don't always understand what's real and fake, we need to be the line of what is illegal in New York State to be crystal clear. This issue transcends borders. It transcends just our local communities. It's a global issue that needs to be tackled succinctly.
In Syracuse, I'm Rachel Culver.
Former fifth-grade teacher arrested earlier this week for an alleged inappropriate relationship with a minor now faces additional charges after investigators identified another alleged victim, according to the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office. The investigation began on January 28th of 26 after a complaint alleged that Marissa Knoll, a 31-year-old Chomet, was involved in an inappropriate relationship with a former student. Authorities said that Knoll was employed at Techie Elementary School at the time of the alleged offenses. With assistance from the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation and Homeland Security investigations, detectives determined there was probable cause to arrest Knoll. She was booked into the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center on April 13th. The Sheriff's Office said that during the ongoing investigation, an additional victim was identified. In addition to Knoll's previous charges, authorities now say she faces 10 counts of indecent behavior with juveniles, a single count of first-degree rape, 2 counts of child sexual abuse materials, a single count of unlawful communications, telecommunications devices, improper language, and harassment, as well as 3 counts of computer-aided solicitation of a minor. Knoll remains incarcerated at the St. Martin Parish Correctional Center. The Sheriff's Office said that bond has not been set on the most recent charges, and that bond for the earlier charges has been set at $750,000. See you, Chomet.
Happening today, trial begins for an Oconto Falls doctor accused of sexually abusing a toddler and recording videos of the abuse.
That federal trial is expected to last 3 to 4 days. Emily Byer joining us live this morning outside the federal courthouse with what's expected to happen today. Good morning, Emily.
Yeah, good morning, Tammy and Aisha. Today we'll start with jury selection. The defense filing the list of proposed questions they want to be able to ask those potential jurors. That list contains 75 questions. Authorities first arrested the now 66-year-old Oconto County physician Isaiah Scupino in late August after receiving a cyber tip about images uploaded to Facebook from Oconto Falls. He faces several charges of production and transportation of child pornography. According to the criminal complaint, an Oconto Falls police detective reviewed the content and recognized Dr. Isaiah Scupino in one of the images. There was also a video showing a young child about toddler age being sexually abused. The detective believed the child could be living with Scupino. Police said they believed there was imminent safety risk for the child, which then led to the execution of a search warrant and arrest of Scupino. The state expects to take 2 days before handing it over to the defense. Scupino had previously been listed on Prevea's website as a doctor of family medicine. That page was taken down shortly after his arrest. Prevea Health at the time issued a statement saying that they could not comment on specifics, but that the employee is not currently working. That trial expected to get started here at 8:30 this morning. Cameras are not allowed in federal court, but we'll be sure to first alert you of updates throughout the day. We'll send it back to you.
State troopers arrested a local police officer in Albany County yesterday as a result of a sex crime investigation. After receiving a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, police searched the home of 40-year-old Michael Patterson of Colony yesterday after obtaining a search warrant. During that search, state police determined Patterson owned numerous images showing the sexual exploitation of children. He was taken into custody in Ravenna. State police have confirmed that Michael Patterson is an officer with both the Cohoes and the Queens Police Department. He's now been charged with promoting a sexual performance by a child and possessing a sexual performance by a child. He's being held in the Albany County Jail.
And Joliet detectives are still investigating, and they say there could be more victims. This comes after a 38-year-old Lyle man on Friday was arrested after an undercover operation found he was trying to meet a student for sex. 38-year-old Alex Butekoffer is in the Kendall County Jail, charged with grooming, child solicitation, traveling to meet a child, and aggravated battery. Until late March, Butekoffer was a gym and health teacher at Aux Sable Middle School in Joliet. It's part of Plainfield School District 202. This was his second year there. Joliet police say he had inappropriate interactions with female students after class and asked for their personal contact information. In one instance, police say he made non-sexual contact with a 14-year-old that made her uncomfortable. Students reported it to teachers and administrators contacted police. Detectives then set up an undercover operation with the student and her parents' permission, posing as that student while texting Butekoffer from her number. Last week, a meeting was arranged between Butekoffer and who he believed was that student. It happened at the McDonald's on Bridge Street in Yorkville, where police were waiting. In his rental car, investigators say they found troubling evidence, including alcohol, a sex toy, and a blanket covering the windows.
Protecting children is a shared obligation across our entire society. It requires adults to listen, to recognize warning signs, to take concerns seriously, and to act quickly when a child may be at risk. In this case, students came forward. Families cooperated. School officials acted. Detectives followed the evidence. That collective response mattered.
Butekoffer was also an assistant lacrosse coach at Hinsdale Central High School. He was fired last month. He previously worked at Freedom Middle School in Berwyn. Both districts have sent letters to families addressing this situation. Butekoffer is due back in court next month. Live in Joliet, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
New at noon, a former substitute teacher at Point Isabel ISD set to serve decades in prison. Today, a judge sentenced Leif Barnum to 30 years behind bars for possession of child pornography and invasive visual recording. He was arrested by Laguna Vista police nearly 2 years ago. An indictment obtained by Channel 5 News shows Barnum had around 500 images of a child under 14.
Pennsylvania. Man wanted for allegedly uploading child sexual abuse material is now in custody in Northampton County. This is Noel Tirado, the octagon-shaped forehead chomo. He was arrested after he was found hiding under blankets on a child's bed at an acquaintance's home in Bethlehem earlier this month. He was allegedly wearing a gun holster, and a loaded 9mm was found in a nearby bedroom. Officials say that Tirado had manufactured video recordings of a very young child. He also allegedly had other videos and photos of child sexual abuse material. He's been charged with manufacturing and possession of child sexual abuse material, as well as possession of a prohibited firearm and criminal use of a communication facility. His bail was set at $1 million cash. Tirado also had warrants out in Lehigh, Northampton, and Monroe counties for escape, terroristic threats, simple assault.
The Hanahan Mayor Pro Tem in jail tonight on federal charges. He's accused of using social media and Roblox to pay minors for child sexual abuse content. Kevin Hedgepeth, a councilman, husband, and father of 2 children, facing a federal judge this afternoon. And tonight, team coverage from what neighbors are saying to how the city of Hanahan is responding.
But first, we're digging into the unsealed criminal complaint and arrest warrant and the accusations spanning from December 2021 to this year. News 4's Emily Deanne was in federal courtroom this afternoon. Emily?
Well, in court today, a woman believed to be his wife appeared visibly emotional. Now, cameras weren't allowed inside, and that 48-year-old councilman never spoke during his initial appearance before a judge just after noon today. But according to this criminal complaint, unsealed today, Kevin Hedgepeth is charged with possession and production of child sexual abuse materials.
The allegations are troubling and deeply disturbing.
Homeland Security investigators allege Kevin Hedgepeth used online forums connected to selling child sexual abuse material. He's accused of using social media platforms like Snapchat and Roblox and payment apps to send money to dozens of accounts believed to be operated by children and teenagers.
He used social media to exploit young boys and girls to coerce them into producing pornographic videos. It should come no surprise that my office will employ every resource to investigate child predators in South Carolina.
Authorities say explicit images and videos were discovered on multiple electronic devices and an iCloud account associated with Hedgepeth. Investigators also allege he communicated directly with minors, at times posing as a minor himself, and pressured victims to create and send explicit content in exchange for money.
Based on the information investigators uncovered, we're asking for the public's help.
According to the complaint, one victim as young as 12 years old was allegedly coerced into producing explicit material with his 15-year-old brother. Federal officials say Hedgepeth paid 47 accounts that were either associated with minors or suspected of selling content. Now they are working to identify all of the victims in this case.
If you have any information that can help law enforcement with this investigation, please let us know.
Hedgepeth will remain behind bars pending a bond determination hearing scheduled for Monday morning. If convicted, he faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in federal prison, up to 30 years, along with lifetime supervision and a $250,000 bond. Working for you, Emily Deanne, News 4.
And will be in court on Monday. Emily, thank you. Meantime, community members now reacting today to these shocking charges.
Nick Bass is live in Hanahan after speaking with people there today. Nick?
Well, Tessa, many neighbors didn't want to get on camera, but they told me when they heard this happen, they were shocked. Now, many people are telling me this happened early in the morning. Neighbors say they didn't expect the street to be filled with federal agents and police vehicles. I spoke to a college student who studies in the area, and she says when she heard what happened, she felt terrible.
I couldn't imagine being a parent and hearing that somebody who maybe I would maybe trust my kid to be around to hold town office is has these allegations. It's heartbreaking.
Allen says this isn't an everyday thing, but she feels these types of crimes are starting to become more common. She also encourages people to do their research on public officials because you never know what type of allegations they have that may have gone under the radar. She also says that this hits home because you don't expect things to happen like this. Live in Hanahan, I'm Nick Bass, News 4.
And the arrest of Mayor Pro Tem Hegpeth is the latest controversy surrounding Hanahan City leadership.
Well, last week we learned a complaint was filed with the State Ethics Commission. We reported that. It accuses Mayor Christy Rainwater and Councilman Michael Sally of violating conflict of interest laws.
Developer C. Ray Wren filed that complaint in September of 2025, claiming the two failed to recuse themselves from land deals involving a real estate company where both worked as agents. State law requires officials to disclose financial interests in city business. The Ethics Commission will hold a hearing on Mayor Rainwater June 18th.
Well, let's take a live look at the city council meeting happening tonight. This was already scheduled, underway. It started at 6 o'clock, so just a few minutes ago. We know that they are supposed to talk about appointing a clerk of council and also consider a mural grant request. Meantime, we just confirmed from News 4's Jessie Klinger, who is there giving us this shot here. She confirmed that the mayor did give a statement in relation to today's arrest of the mayor pro tem. So we will have that updated for you at abcnews4.com, and also more coming up tonight at 11. The Hanahan mayor pro tem in jail tonight on federal charges. He's accused of using social media and Roblox to pay minors for child sexual abuse content. Kevin Hedgepeth, a councilman, husband, and father of two children, facing a federal judge this afternoon. And tonight, team coverage from what neighbors are saying to how the city of Hanahan is responding.
But first, we're digging into the unsealed criminal complaint and arrest warrant and the accusations spanning from December 2021 to this year. News 4's Emily Deanne was in federal courtroom this afternoon. Emily?
Well, in court today, a woman believed to be his wife appeared visibly emotional. Now, cameras weren't allowed inside, and that 48-year-old councilman never spoke during his initial appearance before a judge just after noon today. But according to this criminal complaint, unsealed today, Kevin Hedgepeth is charged with possession and production of child sexual abuse materials.
The allegations are troubling and deeply disturbing.
Homeland Security investigators allege Kevin Hedgepeth used online forums connected to selling child sexual abuse material. He's accused of using social media platforms like Snapchat and Roblox and payment apps to send money to dozens of accounts believed to be operated by children and teenagers.
He used social media to exploit young boys and girls to coerce them into producing pornographic videos. It should come no surprise that my office will employ every resource to investigate child predators in South Carolina.
Authorities say explicit images and videos were discovered on multiple electronic devices and an iCloud account associated with Hedgepeth. Investigators also allege he communicated directly with minors, at times posing as a minor himself, and pressured victims to create and send explicit content in exchange for money.
Based on the information investigators uncovered, we're asking for the public's help.
According to the complaint, one victim as young as 12 years old was allegedly coerced into producing explicit material with his 15-year-old brother. Federal officials say Hedgepeth paid 47 accounts that were either associated with minors or suspected of selling content. Now they are working to identify all of the victims in this case.
If you have any information that can help law enforcement with this investigation, please let us know.
Hedgepeth will remain behind bars pending a bond determination hearing scheduled for Monday morning. If convicted, he faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years in federal prison, up to 30 years, along with lifetime supervision and a $250,000 bond. Working for you, Emily Deanne, News 4.
And we'll be in court on Monday. Emily, thank you. Meantime, community members now reacting today to these shocking charges.
Nick Bass is live in Hanahan after speaking with people there today. Nick?
Well, Tessa, many neighbors didn't want to get on camera, but they told me when they heard this happen, they were shocked. Now, many people are telling me this happened early in the morning. Neighbors say they didn't expect the street to be filled with federal agents and police vehicles. I spoke to a college student who studies in the area, and she says when she heard what happened, she felt terrible.
I couldn't imagine being a parent and hearing that somebody who maybe I trust my kid to be around to whole town office is like has these allegations. It's heartbreaking.
Allen says this isn't an everyday thing, but she feels these types of crimes are starting to become more common. She also encourages people to do their research on public officials because you never know what type of allegations they have that may have gone under the radar. She also says that this hits home because you don't expect things to happen like this. Live in Hanahan, I'm Nick Bass, News 4.
And the arrest of Mayor Pro Tem Hickpeth is the latest controversy surrounding Hanahan city leadership.
Well, last week we learned a complaint was filed with the State Ethics Commission. We reported that. It accuses Mayor Christy Rainwater and Councilman Michael Sally of violating conflict of interest laws.
Developer C. Ray Wren filed that complaint in September of 2025, claiming the two failed to recuse themselves from land deals involving a real estate company where both worked as agents. State law requires officials to disclose financial interests in city business. The Ethics Commission will hold a hearing on Mayor Rainwater June 18th.
Well, let's take a live look at the city council meeting happening tonight. This was already scheduled, underway. It started at 6 o'clock, so just a few minutes ago. We know that they are supposed to talk about appointing a clerk of council and also consider a mural grant request. Meantime, we just confirmed from News 4's Jesse Klinger, who is there giving us this shot here. She confirmed that the mayor did give a statement in relation to today's arrest of the mayor pro tem. So we will have that updated for you at abcnews4.com, and also more coming up tonight at 11.
Now down in South Carolina, the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force partnered with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office to arrest Jaden Seegers, 19-year-old of Greenville, on 3 child sexual abuse material charges, according to the South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. Wilson said that investigators received a cyber tip line report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that led them to Seegers. Investigators said that Seegers distributed files of child sexual abuse material, and he faces 3 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. If found guilty, Seegers could face up to 10 years in prison for each count. See ya, Seegers. Chomo.
Back here at home, Jim C. McGirt, the man at the center of the tribal reservation story here in our state, is going back to prison. McGirt sued the state saying they didn't have jurisdiction and that the tribal reservations were never disbanded. The Supreme Court of the United States did agree to this. Now, here in 2026, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Oklahoma's Eastern District says McGirt was sentenced to 33 months in prison for 1 count of failure to register as a sex offender and 12 consecutive months in prison for his May 2024 conviction of aggravated sex abuse of a minor in Indian country. The United States State's attorney on this says McGirt cannot get parole with this sentence.
New here at 6, a Lake Forest man who used to own the house featured in Home Alone has been arrested. He's facing allegations. John Abendonshine is charged with 7 counts of possession of child abuse materials. The Lake Forest Police Department and the Lake County State's Attorney's Office followed several cyber tips to the 79-year-old. He appeared in court today and was released with bond conditions.
Eleanor County sex offender is accused of violating state registration requirements. Deputies arrested 35-year-old William Lockhart III on Monday after an investigation. On April 9th, deputies learned that he had failed to notify authorities about his address change and was living near a daycare center. Lockhart is charged with failure to report a new address as a sex offender and sex offender residence violation. He was placed on a $100,000 secured bond.
A Middleburg man has been arrested in connection with a child exploitation investigation. The Clay County Sheriff's Office says they got a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Detectives say they found child sexual abuse material during their investigation. And tonight, 39-year-old Tracy Burke is facing 10 counts of knowingly possessing and intentionally viewing child sexual abuse material.
Well, a teacher in McDowell County will now spend more than 28 years in prison for child sex crimes. An investigation revealed Jessica Patrick Finley. We have a photo for you. We'll show you right here on your screen. We are told she had inappropriate communications with a 14-year-old student. That's that photo of her right here. She resigned from McDowell County Schools in February of 2024, and she was charged with multiple felony offenses involving a minor. Last Thursday, Finley pleaded guilty to all of her charges in Superior Court. She was sentenced to a minimum of 28 years and 4 months in prison.
And we have new details. A 19-year-old Newberry man has been arrested for possession of child sexually abusive material. Calvin Gerwatowski was arraigned on 2 counts of child sexually abusive material today in Lewis County District Court. The MSP arrested him says after an investigation started by the National Children for Missing and Exploited Children. The investigators say they learned he accessed and shared explicit content on the internet. Digital evidence was seized following a search of his home.
Good evening. The former Claremont County daycare worker is facing a judge and some serious charges involving a little girl.
Yeah, prosecutors say he became obsessed with a 5-year-old while he was working at the daycare. Local 12's Tyler Madden is outside the Claremont County Courthouse tonight in Batavia. He joins us now with the latest. Tyler.
Kyle and Paul, the judge in this case today, calling the charges against Christopher Helmer disturbing. He's entered Helmer a not guilty plea today. Both sides were making the case on what bond should be set at. Helmer's attorney says he's not a flight risk, and the prosecutor argues he's a danger to young people if he's let out.
I think that little girls everywhere are at risk if he is out.
18-year-old Christopher Helmer was arraigned on gross sexual imposition, grooming, and child pornography charges. The prosecutor says most of this centers around what happened between Helmer and a 5-year-old at Jelly Bean Junction Daycare in Pierce Township.
Not only did he kiss a 5-year-old on the mouth multiple times, a child who was at his daycare that he worked at, he admitted to the Pierce Township detective that he was infatuated with her.
He was fired and the daycare called police, who launched an investigation.
He had Google searched her address at least 27 times. And he then found out how long and how to get from his house to her house. Right. I'm not concerned. The state is not concerned that he's a flight risk. The state is terrified that he was trying to abduct this child.
During the investigation, they say detectives discovered hundreds of unrelated child sex abuse pictures and videos, along with photos of the 5-year-old.
He admitted to taking several photos of that child. He had some photos from the daycare of children getting into cars, which is also concerning.
Helmer's attorney says he turned himself in and isn't a flight risk. He pointed out Helmer's behavior after he was released on a related charge prior to the new ones being filed.
In that 6-day window, he remained at his house. He didn't go out in public. I reached out to the state of Ohio, let them know that he would be available either to be picked up or to turn himself in. He didn't engage in any other misconduct during that time window. He just stayed at home.
The judge set his bond at $800,000.
The allegations are obviously disturbing and concerning to the court.
Now, the judge says if Helmer is released, he's got some strict rules that he's got to follow. No contact with minors, no electronics that can access the internet, and there's a protection order in place between Helmer and the victim. Live in Batavia, Tyler Madden, Local 12 News.
Tyler, thank you so much. And Helmer is due back in court on May 5th.
A man is in the Bell County Jail facing charges in connection to the aggravated sexual assault of a child. The announcement comes following an investigation by the Bell County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say 41-year-old Jeremy David DuPaul was first arrested Tuesday on a charge of assault causing bodily injury after investigators say they developed information about possible domestic violence. The next day, after review by the Bell County DA's office, DuPaul was also charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child. That's a first-degree felony. The sheriff's office says DuPaul is a registered sex offender with a prior conviction for possession of child sexual abuse material. This morning, he remains in jail on a combined bond of $325,000.
School employee learned today that she will spend life in prison for having a sexual relationship with a child she met through school. Kim Burrows was at the sentencing and is live in the studio now with this case, Kim, that started in 2022.
The boy was 13 at the time. Caitlin Rock had sons who were about the same age as the victim. She was working as an intervention prevention assistant at Billinghurst Middle School when she met the boy. Caitlin Rock was shackled in handcuffs for today's sentencing. In January, a jury found her guilty of 19 counts, including sexual assault against a child under 14, sexual seduction, and luring using a computer. In the year-and-a-half relationship, they exchanged hundreds of sexually graphic text messages and had sex many times. The judge sentenced Rock today to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 144 years. In court, the victim's mother said Rock's actions changed and harmed not only the boy, but her entire family. And the pain has been indescribable. The boy, who is now 17 years old, said that he is still hurt, angry, and ashamed.
Granger.
This case is pushed back again. Former Evolve Bank CEO Bob Hartenheimer won't be sentenced until June. That's after a judge reset the hearing for a second time. He pleaded guilty to federal child exploitation charges earlier this year. Investigators say he thought he was talking to a 15-year-old, but it was actually an undercover FBI agent. Hartenheimer was fired after his arrest. He's now due back in court June 4th.
And we are back with a story you will see only on 10. A local pastor with a criminal history now faces new sex crime charges.
A teenager is accusing Daquan Hill of making sexual advances while in their church office. 10 on your side's Angela Bohan takes a deeper dive into these new allegations. Angela?
According to court records, Daquan Hill is a convicted sex offender. He is out on bond now. We've looked into both his criminal history and his role as a pastor. Tonight, you'll hear from multiple people who say despite prior convictions, Hill continued to have direct access to children. 10 on your side tried to get Hill's side of the story, but here's what happened.
Pastor Hill, do you have any comment on these recent allegations?
Excuse me.
Do you have any comments?
Bye.
Tensions are high as Daquan Hill faces charges of sexual battery as well as assault and battery. The latest alleged incident reportedly happened February 28th in Chesapeake. A mother spoke to 10 on your side under the condition of anonymity, saying it involved her 18-year-old son inside a church on Indian River Road. The building is inconspicuous, no signage, and black curtains drawn. Virginia court system records show Hill has been previously convicted of other sex crimes, serving close to 2 years behind bars, though over the years, some of his sentences were suspended. This was his first time in court on these latest charges. Outside the Chesapeake courthouse, we talked with another mother who's also a leader of a church, as well as her son, who Hill was convicted of sexually abusing nearly 10 years ago. Michelle Bowman says they forgave him, but
then for him to take that grace and come back and do it again, oh no, grace has run out. Grace has run out. You are a predator.
We did some digging and found a certificate of Hill's ordination in 2016 in Norfolk and another of his pastoral installation in 2023 in Virginia Beach. Flyers on social media show Hill listed as a pastor as recently as January of this year.
But again, that's my pastor. That's our youth pastor. I'm not thinking that he's going to try to do something to my child. That's the last thing I thought. Instead of praying for people, he's been preying on people.
According to court paperwork from 2017, part of the condition of Hill's bond release was that he would not take part in any work involving youth at his church or any other. We've discovered that Daquan Hill, who sometimes goes by his middle name, Dominique, also worked for a business called Prime Care Medical. Sanjanique Gonzalez, a former coworker of his, says during his employment there, he was indeed around children, sometimes watching them so parents could focus on their time with the doctor.
And Mr. Hill was adamant, like, I got him, just go. I got him, I'm gonna take it, I got him. And yeah, he walked that patient's child outside to sit in the car and wait.
Gonzalez describes Hill as upbeat and happy-go-lucky. She said while she worked with him, she was not aware of his past convictions.
Yeah, you mean to tell me this was missed by everyone? It's unacceptable.
She also talked to 10 on your side about her knowledge of Hill recently being a church leader.
I've seen videos of him preaching, and he did let us know that he had obtained a church. And, you know, at the time, we were all really, really happy for him because that was one of his main goals.
We have also reached out to several church leaders associated with Daquan Hill, but so far, they have not commented. Again, Hill is out on bond. He's scheduled to be back in court on June 4th.
But first, breaking news just into our newsroom here at Channel 9. A missing girl from Orange County was found inside the home of a convicted sex offender. In just the last 30 minutes, we learned about the arrest of 30-year-old Alexis Diaz Toledo, seen here. Detectives say they found that 17-year-old from Orange County in the bedroom closet of the suspect's Polk County home. Diaz Toledo has been a convicted sex offender since 2014. He is facing multiple charges, obviously, including interfering in the custody of a minor. We'll continue to dig on this story and get you as many details as we can.
A registered sex offender from Warminster Township was charged by the Bucks County detectives with the online dissemination of child sexual abuse material. Bucks County District Attorney Joe Kahn had announced this on Monday. Edward Joseph Hockenberry, a 42-year-old, was charged with felony counts of sexual abuse of children, dissemination of photo film, sexual abuse of children, possession of child sexual abuse material, dissemination of explicit sexual material to a minor, unlawful contact with a minor, and criminal use of a communication facility. He was arraigned Saturday by Magisterial District Judge Mark D. Duple and remanded to the Bucks County Correctional Facility under a $500,000 bail with a 10% figures. See ya, Chomo.
New this morning, a Massachusetts man has been charged in connection with transporting child pornography. Reports stated that in August of 2025, a 25-year-old Camden McLean of Leominster was flagged for a secondary screening at Logan Airport in Boston. Investigators allegedly located media files depicting child sexual abuse material on McLean's cell phone. Under forensic examination, additional media files were reportedly found. McLean was arrested on April 15th and appeared in Worcester Federal Court. He's been charged and faces at least 5 years in prison and up to a lifetime of supervised release with a fine of up to $250,000.
Start this afternoon in Stanton, where the Stanton Police Department has arrested a man on multiple child sex crimes. According to SPD, Ahmad Walker, a 25-year-old out of Stanton, has been charged with 4 counts of carnal knowledge of a child, 3 counts of using an electronic for a child sex crime, and 1 count of obstruction of justice. Walker was arrested with the assistance of the United States Marshals Capital Area Fugitive Task Force, and he's currently being held at Middle River Regional Jail without bond.
A firefighting official in the Minot area is in jail tonight after child pornography was found on a work phone he had used. Investigators say they located child pornography on a cell phone tied to Robert Knuth, the assistant chief for the Minot Rural Fire Department. Here's my report on the charges he's facing and reaction from a witness who saw the arrest firsthand.
A probable cause declaration states during a fraud investigation, an agent found dozens of images of child sexual abuse materials on a phone Knuth used while working as a trainer with the North Dakota Firefighters Association before resigning and turning the phone in. Prosecutors say Knuth admitted to paying women believed to be overseas so he could view naked children over video chat and take screenshots. We've interviewed Knuth most recently at last year's State Fire School in Minot. The association saying Knuth has not been affiliated with them since last April, adding, "These allegations are deeply concerning and wholly inconsistent with the core values of the fire service and the trust placed in us by the communities we serve. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families." Brianna, a lifelong Minot resident, was delivering packages Thursday and caught this footage of Knuth's arrest that quickly went viral on social media.
I've never, ever seen so many law enforcement my whole entire life, and I knew at that moment immediately start recording literally everything.
Knuth made his initial court appearance Friday over video from the Ward County Jail. The courts set his bond at $100,000 cash. The special prosecutor saying more charges could be coming. The current chief of the Minot Rural Fire Department declined comment when reached Thursday.
Now, Knuth will appear for his preliminary hearing and arraignment May 20th. The circumstances of the fraud investigation that led to the discovery of the child pornography are unclear. Knuth currently does not have other open case files in North Dakota.
Meanwhile, Dorchester County deputies say a man with 10 outstanding warrants for Wisconsin for sexual crimes against children has been arrested. Deputies say 40-year-old Jared Waning of Somerville was arrested on Gaslight Boulevard off of West Butternut Road near Knightsville on Saturday. Deputies say he wasn't home when they first got there, but they were able to track him down and take him into custody. Waning was wanted on charges including repeated sexual assault, sexual intercourse with a child, and sexual exploitation of a child by filming. He's now awaiting extradition to Wisconsin. Sheriff Sam Richardson commended deputies on the arrest, adding that there is no place to hide for those who commit these heinous crimes.
Well, a Greenville man is behind bars following his arrest for child rape charges, according to warrants. 21-year-old Rashawn Green was arrested yesterday by the Greenville Police Department after Green willfully engaged in intercourse with a female juvenile, according to warrants. Warrants go on to say that the incident took place in November, stating the female juvenile was under or the age of 15 at the time of the incident. Green is being held at the Pitt County Detention Center, and court documents say his first court appearance is Monday at 2 p.m.
A 32-year-old New Orleans man was arrested last week on accusations that he offered to pay a 14-year-old girl for sexual images and that he was in possession of CSAM. Justin Michael Smith was arrested Friday after a search warrant was executed at his home in Gentilly. The Louisiana Bureau of Investigation agents executed the warrant and took Smith into custody after receiving a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in reference to Smith's alleged online activity. The Attorney General's office said that Smith was booked with 8 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material depicting subjects under the age of 13. 1 count of child sexual abuse material production, 1 count of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 1 count of computer-aided solicitation of a minor. Agents said that after being read his Miranda rights, Smith admitted to searching for and viewing the child sexual abuse material and communicating with a 14-year-old girl. During communication, Smith would request the juvenile to produce the CSAM and pay the victim for the content. Court records show Smith remains in the Orleans Justice Center jail as of Monday afternoon, with bond set at $550,000. He's due back in court on June 16th.
1 for a rainbow, 1 for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
Broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing. Ink stains on my test paper, your hand leaning where it shouldn't be. You twist the rules like a gold ring, say it's love, say it's meant to be. Leave the kids alone. See kids alive.